Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring a game-changing development in tech hiring. A Stanford student named Chungin Lee has built a teleprompter app that can solve LeetCode problems in real time during interviews. This invention has sparked debates about whether classical algorithmic interviews, even entire processes built around LeetCode, are dead. Hi, I'm Tony from LeetKey. I help people learn how to solve LeetCode problems so they can find the job of their dreams. And today I'm showing up in person to talk about this new development in the tech interview landscape. But there's more to the story. AI is already an everyday part of software development. So how do these tools fit into the interview landscape, and why do fundamental coding skills still matter? So let's first talk about the brief history of coding interviews. Before platforms like LeetCode took over, many companies relied on whiteboarding. You stand up, you write code on a physical board and draw diagrams and talk through a solution. While nerve-wracking, it gave teams a direct look into your approach under pressure, but it had some issues like it wasn't super standardized, and often the hiring managers didn't understand how to ask the questions properly to get the right sort of feedback, so they wouldn't give good constraints and things like this. But then tech hiring exploded and companies needed a more standardized way to filter candidates. So enter LeetCode in the early 2010s. Its massive repository of algorithmic challenges quickly became the industry benchmark. So soon, LeetCode style interviews, heavy on data structures and algorithmic puzzles, became the norm. Whether you love or hate it, the system is built to measure coding fundamentals in a quick, consistent manner. So, the controversy. Real-time AI. Fast forward to today, a teleprompter app can literally feed you to the solution as you code. Critics say it defeats the purpose of these tests. Are you really solving the problem or just parroting some AI? And supporters say it levels the playing field, especially for those who lack the time to grind hundreds of questions, which I can relate to. It's not fun solving LeetCode problems for months on end. But companies rely on these interviews to gauge problem-solving skills. So if the solution is fed to you line by line, is that skill even being tested anymore? So let's talk about cheating in tech interviews. Here's the big issue. Cheating ultimately cheats you. Even if you pass the online portion of the interview, high-level roles usually involve multi-stage interviews, often in person or at least with live coding in front of peers. So if you struggle to replicate the skills you supposedly demonstrated in the early level interview, then it'll become obvious that you're relying on an external tool. Beyond that, once you have the job, you'll face real software challenges. LeetCode is not just busy work. It's like a flashcard set of common algorithms and data structures. These patterns matter because they help you avoid memory leaks that drive up costs, runaway scaling issues that cause painfully slow or crashing services, or security holes that put user data at risk. So a shaky foundation means you'll be unprepared when it really counts, and that can lead to big failures on the job. So AI and everyday programming, we can talk about, let's address the elephant in the room. AI is already a normal part of programming. Tools like GitHub, Copilot, ChatGPT, Cursor, and all these can help you automate your code, suggest libraries, and even outline entire functions. Think of AI like a power tool in construction. It can drastically increase your efficiency, but only if you have the foundational skills to use it safely and effectively. So you have to understand the underlying principles. If AI suggests a flawed approach or a memory-intensive algorithm, you need to be able to spot the error. Guiding the tool, AI doesn't always grasp the context or higher level constraints and requirements, so you have to provide those. And you have to maintain control. So if you lack knowledge of data structures, you might end up with code that's technically correct, but wildly inefficient or insecure. So in other words, AI can amplify your abilities, but it can't substitute for genuine mastery of core concepts. So let's talk about the future of hiring. How will companies adapt to the rise of real-time AI solutions? I see a few likely scenarios because the constraint of the companies is that they need a standardized way to measure your abilities in a way that's cost-effective, and understanding that the hiring managers don't have the technical knowledge themselves often to gauge your abilities. So they need a reliable, inexpensive, systematized way to measure your abilities. So what I see is stricter on-site requirements where more interviews happen live, on camera, or even in person. Pair programming and collaborative tasks. I think it's harder to fake if you have to discuss your logic step by step, especially if the interviewer makes changes live, adapts the algorithm, says, oh, actually, we're going to do this with this scale, or this, try it with this data pattern, go from recursive to, procedural, playing with the constraints of the algorithm to see how you adapt. System design in real world projects. So testing your depth of understanding rather than just rote problem solving. So how does this algorithm fit into a larger picture? You're solving a problem with these constraints. You've got mobile, or you've got an API, and you want to implement it in this way. What would you do? So still, I think algorithmic interviews won't vanish overnight. They're really ingrained in many company cultures, and many managers believe that these questions reveal crucial problem-solving aptitudes. So another thing to talk about in the industry is real-world projects. Building up your portfolio, or having personal projects or side hustles, or projects or a side hustle. This is a really common way of showing that you have the skills and will to work in tech. And so it's an alternative emphasizing real-world coding projects over problem solving. Hiring managers love seeing tangible products that you've built, proof that you can work on a real system, but here's the catch. First, it relies on unequal access. So building significant side projects requires extra time, often an advantage for those with fewer outside responsibilities, no children, maybe they don't already have a job, or they just have more financial resources. They don't have to work after school, or these sorts of things. So it benefits people who are kind of already in a better place. And it sort of sets up the industry to promote free labor. So the industry can inadvertently push candidates to do unpaid work, volunteering, open source or personal projects, side hustles that they can say, oh, other people have used this project, and just to prove that a person deserves a job. And this is kind of a strange system, I think, to rely on. It kind of exists already in the software industry, but it sort of relies on luck and, again, time and having the money to sort of work on a personal project that you can then promote and gain traction on, which requires marketing skills and luck and a good network. And are those really what you're being tested for, to get a corporate job? I think it's a strange system. So it's really popular, but it is the reality right now. And I hope that, with LeetCode, one of the advantages of LeetCode was that it kind of evened the playing field. Sure, you still had to study, but it didn't mean that you had to also be an entrepreneur and an open source developer and this and that. You just had to learn the algorithms. So why companies might still value LeetCode skills? Even with real-world challenges and AI in the mix, data structures and algorithms are still vital. They help ensure efficient, reliable, and secure software, especially at scale. So if you can't navigate common patterns like breadth first search, depth-first search, dynamic programming, or handle complexities efficiently, you will struggle with large-scale infrastructure. So, my advice: study, don't memorize. Deep dive into the why behind each algorithm, not just the solution pattern. Practice under real conditions, so time yourself, simulate live interviews, and aim for clarity in explaining your process. This, by the way, is also really helpful on the job because most of the programming jobs are much more social than you would expect. So having to explain why you chose this path or why this would be a good solution to use in the future is going to be a useful skill in your career. Use AI wisely. Treat AI as like a power drill, not as a replacement for knowing how to measure, cut, and design. Balance projects and algorithms. Projects show you can build, algorithms show you can optimize and protect those builds at scale. So it's a useful skill to develop both. And stay ethical. A short-term win from cheating can lead to long-term embarrassment or job loss. And in the future, the tech industry is actually quite small, so if you get blacklisted for something like this, it could be pretty difficult to get back into that career path. So better to be honest, even if the rules are stacked against you in some way. So, closing thoughts. I think are we witnessing the end of the LeetCode era? Probably not. But AI-powered tools have definitely forced companies to rethink how they test for genuine skill. Ultimately, those who combine foundational knowledge with the smart use of AI will thrive in the industry. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are AI tools the future, or is there still room for old-school problem solving? If you found this video helpful or thought-provoking, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I really appreciate it. It helps this channel grow and helps me reach out to other people and help them with their coding interviews. So until next time, please keep learning, keep coding, and harness the power of AI responsibly. Thank you.